check in a bit. Meanwhile, new information on that breaking news. A woman shot and killed at a Gwinnett County car dealership in the last 15 minutes. Police said they do not know why someone would do this. The gunfire happened at the intersection of Anderson Road and Centerville Highway. For reference, not too far from a busy Walmart shopping center. Channel 2's Matt Johnson, they're live for us now. And Matt, you talked to police. What do they have to say?
Yeah, within the last 10 minutes, Gwinnett County Police confirmed that they do not have a suspect and they are still looking for a killer. We do know that this shooting happened inside of this car dealership. Police say someone with a mask went inside and shot and killed a woman. We don't know much about a motive. We don't know whether the woman was a customer or whether she was an employee at the car dealership. Police right now are going in and out of the store, looking through any evidence they can find and speaking with people who are with the business as well. It's unclear if there are surveillance cameras inside of the store, but there are some cameras outside of the store police are going to be going through. Here's what police had to say when we asked them about what they can tell us about the suspect.
No suspects in custody at this time. It's a possibility that the suspect may have been known to the victim and or the business itself.
Yeah, police really couldn't elaborate any more on that at this point. The description they have is that it was a male in a mask who was last seen running away from the area. Police responded, set up a perimeter, and tried to search for the suspect. But right now they're going to be going through those surveillance cameras that are outside of the business and hopefully look for some footage that they can find to help find a killer. At this point, no one in custody, and an adult woman is dead. And we're still looking to find out more information about that victim as well. Live in Gwinnett County, Matt Johnson, Channel 2 Action News.
And Matt, we know people live near the area, so of course we'll stay on top of this with any new developments. Thank you.
The man accused of stabbing a grandmother to death at her Buckhead home waived his right to a first court appearance today. 22-year-old Antonio Brown is charged with killing 77-year-old Eleanor Bowles on Saturday. He was arrested Monday morning. 11 Alive's Joe Hankey discovered today that this is not the first time Brown has been arrested by Atlanta police for, right, Joe, using a knife?
Well, that's right, Savannah. Fulton County jail records for Antonio Brown date back to 2019 and show he's been arrested 4 times since then, including for this stabbing in Buckhead. 2019, arrested for shoplifting. January 2020, arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, giving a false name to police, and misdemeanor drug charges. August 2020, arrested for felony aggravated assault and misdemeanor simple assault against a family member. That last arrest, the most serious of the 3. An indictment shows Antonio Brown was accused of grabbing his mother by her neck while also holding a knife. Court records describe Brown and his mother as arguing with each other. He eventually reached a plea deal with prosecutors in that case and was sentenced to 12 months in custody for simple assault. Because he had already been in jail for 12+ months at that point, he was released. As part of that plea deal, the felony assault charge was not prosecuted. In a statement today, District Attorney Fonnie Willis wrote 11 Alive, the defendant was sentenced to time served after being in custody for more than a year. That resolution was consistent with the facts in that case, including claims by the defendant's mother and other family members that the mother was the aggressor in the case. Brown tonight is back in the Fulton County Jail, charged now with murdering Eleanor Bowles on Saturday. In his arrest warrants, investigators allege he stabbed her multiple times and then stole her SUV. Willis told 11 Alive today, my office is now working with the Atlanta Police Department to ensure that justice is served for the murder of Eleanor Bowles. As the matter is still under investigation, we cannot comment further at this time. And Brown will remain in the Fulton County Jail for the foreseeable future as he does not yet have any future court dates scheduled. Late this afternoon, Brown's family sent me a statement in response to his arrest. I'll share what they are now saying coming up at 6.
We're following breaking news right now. We're on the scene of a shooting in northwest Atlanta. Let's go right to Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez, who's live on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. And Ty, what can you tell us?
Well, I want to show you what's going on, Fred. Atlanta police are on the scene still of this shooting. If you look back there where that red door is open, right behind that yellow tape, that is where police say an adult son shot and killed his father. Now, the father was alive when he left here, when he was transported to the hospital. He died either on the way or at the hospital, and the adult son is in police custody. We're working to find out more information about the adult son and the deceased father. And as soon as we get that, we'll share that information with you. And of course, we'll have live reports on Channel 2 Action News starting at 4 o'clock today. We're live in Southwest Atlanta at the Synergy Apartment Complex. Taisha Fernandez, Channel 2 Action News.
Ty, thank you very much. So sorry to hear about that story.
This has been one long, torturous day. Today is Tuesday, December the 13th, the year is 2022. You see this mutt right here, Ginger? Well, Ginger's been attacking Grayson all day, trying to pull the cone off his head. She's been attacking him and biting him and biting and attacking him. And she says she's biting me right now and everything, trying to get loose so she can go back to chasing after Grayson. She's trying to remove the cone. I said, stop it. Stop it, you biting him up. Of course, we got Grayson here with the cone on his head. Say, hey, everybody, I'm in recovery. I'm a ball snip. Not a happy camper. He's not happy at all about this whole shit. This has been a torturous day dealing with them. They've been fighting. Ginger been attacking. Oh, she's just been on attack mode. Why are you so bad, you fucking mother? She just like, see how she biting everything? She just likes to bite. Ow! You cut it out, you bad biting mutt. Get your ass down. I don't know how we're gonna do this video with all this racket over here. I'm gonna try. Oh, she got her bone. Okay, good. She went and got to find a little bone to play with. Grayson, leave her alone. She got a bone. And you, Grayson. Anyway, so three major stories here in Atlanta. A woman at a car dealership. I was trying to get her information. She was killed. She was a black woman killed while at work at a car dealership. I'm in Gwinnett County, which Gwinnett County is probably one of the safer counties in the Atlanta metropolitan area. However, they even had their share of crimes. In fact, a correctional officer was shot outside his job right outside the police department today. So I was going to post that one. I couldn't get Ginger. I couldn't get that information. But anyway, so Gwinnett County tends to be so we got Gwinnett County, then we got two incidents in Atlanta. Of course, the young man, the 22-year-old man who killed the 77-year-old Elizabeth Bowles. At one point, he tried to kill his damn mother. He grabbed his mother by the neck, by the throat, and held a knife to her hand. I'm like, well, okay. And he ended up getting 12 months in jail for that. Come here, Ginger. Come here. She's trying her best over there to remove that thing. Look at this. This is what I'm dealing with. Grayson, come here. Come here, Grayson. Come here, Grayson. Y'all can't see what they're doing over there. She's trying to remove the cone from off of him. Get your ass over here. She's growling and barking and trying to remove the cone off his head. I'm gonna lock your ass up. I'm gonna lock you up. Yes, I'm gonna lock your ass up. You don't get it. You gonna bite me. You gonna sit here. So as I was saying, the man who killed. I'm not there now. This is what I have to deal with all day. This one. This is the bad one here. You know what? But I got a little surprise for her here. She just don't know I'm going to go around. Let her sit out there and turn it around for her ass. Woo. All right, so we got one doggy here. We got one dog. He better sit his ass down before he goes join her. He already. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, let me pause this video for 1 second so I can get some things calmed down. I'll be right back. And I apologize for all that racket. Let me catch my breath. Put one in the cage, one in the deck. I have to separate them. Now y'all gonna hear the whimpering and crying, and the whimpering and the crying, and the whimpering and the crying. Why won't somebody come adopt these dogs? Here's the funny part. As soon as I turn on this ring light, all hell breaks loose over here. It's like, okay, what can I just... They were over there sleeping. As soon as I turned that ring light on, they woke up like, okay, what the fuck going on over there? Now Ginger out here crying and crying and crying. She just determined she want to get in. Normally he'd be outside and then Grayson's over here crying and he boo-hooing because I put him in his cage to protect him from Ginger. So anyway, 3 major news stories. And I apologize to y'all. 3 major news stories Antonio tried to kill his mother and was arrested and held in the Fulton County Jail for over a year. On top of that, he had previous arrests. So you almost wonder, let me just pause this one more time. Give me 2 seconds. And finally, they have peace and quiet so I can finish this video. So I took Grayson and shoved him way on the other side of the deck, on the other side of the house. And I took Ginger and I stuck her in the sunroom by herself. So she's staring out the window at Grayson. They down in between a big old piece of glass door and cage. Actually, it's Grayson in his cage. Because he has that cone on. He's running around and he's going to tear that cone up. He's got to have that cone on his head until Friday. Today is Tuesday. So in order to feed him, I have to put the food in the cage and then hold it up there to him so he can eat, because that big cone's in the way. Because when I take the cone off, he goes back to licking his balls, and we don't want that. So, anyway, as I was saying, 3 major news reports here in Atlanta, 3 murders. The woman killed at the car dealership, the car saleswoman. Of course, Eleanor Bowles up in her home, 77-year-old grandmother in her home in Buckhead. And the last one, the son killing his father. They didn't release the ages of these individuals or nothing, but still the whole thing, you killed your dad. Wow. The sad part about all 3 of these cases were black people were the assailants, the murderers. And I have a sneaky suspicion the lady was killed at that car dealership in Gwinnett County. That's a domestic violence incident. And I think they're probably going to find her ex-husband or boyfriend or somebody that she wouldn't been messing around with. He was the one that's that beautiful black woman. So I was trying to download the video. I'm going to try to find a picture and post of her, but you can always Google all this stuff too, y'all. Y'all got Google. I try to put these news articles in there so you all can see what's going on around. I know y'all just love Atlanta. But I'll be honest with y'all, we all know this is going on everywhere. It ain't just going on in Atlanta. It's everywhere. The story in Gwinnett kind of stood out because Gwinnett tends to be a somewhat safer kind. Like I said, there was a correctional officer shot and killed outside the police department today. Police everywhere, he just shot and killed, so something ain't right about that. You have to be a pretty bold person to literally kill somebody in the parking lot of the police department. That might have been an inside job too. We had a lot of suspicions. Something ain't right about this. Nobody saw nothing. But it's you got to be careful. I always say this. I never want to eat children. 2 things in those reports that stood out to me: the father got killed by his son, and Antonio Brown, or whatever his name is. I think it was Antonio Brown, Marcavius, whatever his name is. Holding a knife, grabbing his mother by a knife and holding a neck and holding a knife to her ass. Who does that to your own mother? Heathens. These parents, they ain't worth a hill of fucking beans. These are some of the worst parents in generations. And these parents are raising monsters. In many instances, the parents are monsters too. So you just have monsters raising monsters. They're all unleashed upon society. I'm telling you something. When I live in Atlanta, I've learned I don't say, like, if you bump into somebody in the store or just, you don't know a person's background. So you're almost walking on eggshells, especially these little niggas. I'm just keeping it real. When you go into these black communities, and you live in a black community, or you just wander into a black community, because many times you just kind of wander in and know where the fuck you at. Oh, you see all them heathens. That's where you need the Niggerville app. So that way you won't make that mistake. But sometimes you just so happen to go into these areas. You have to be very careful, because if these people would kill their own mother or father or husband or wife, what do they think about your ass? You don't even know them. And I learned a long time ago, just be careful. You just got to be careful. I don't even know what to even say. these environments where they raise these children, in many instances, is not an environment of love and concern. It has never crossed my mind to grab my mother by the neck and put a knife to her. Nor has it ever crossed my mind to grab a gun and shoot my father. How are these children being raised? These parents are raising monsters. They're horrible people. Children growing up in environments that turn into murderous adults. And there were a lot of other stories I could have posted today. I posted 3 of them. I know you don't do that many of them, but this time I was all such juicy stuff. I thought, oh, this is good stuff here. But it's sad because, you know, as a black person, we have some serious issues within the black community, particularly within the family structure. Some of these people just shouldn't have been parents. I see it all the time, even in my own family. I say, why do they have these children? You know, I have a cousin in Detroit, same age as me, and I think she had about, I think her name was Cynthia. I'm pretty sure that girl, I'm going to check with my aunt, but she had about 30 children, but she didn't raise any of them. Somewhere about 30 children. And she started having children at 16, 15, 16. She had children she didn't raise any of these children. Just birthed them into this world. They ended up in foster care. People trying to take care of them, family. It was a horrible mess. It was one of my cousins, she's from Detroit. You know, so you look at this stuff, you just say, you know, I feel sorry for those 30 kids that were born into a world of chaos and confusion. They didn't ask to be born into that mess. And I'm not sure. I'd have to ask my aunt. She'd tell me all the dirt on how those kids came out. But she's one of my mother's cousins. I need to figure out how we are. But she's a cousin, and I do remember her name was Cynthia. Same age as me. That I know for sure. And she had all these children. I can imagine the lives that those kids have led. When you don't come into a happy structure of a family life, a decent home, a parent who loves you, you know, it can be troubling. You know, I can imagine this young man that killed Elizabeth up there in Buckhead, what kind of life he led. That he grabbed a knife. Who does that? Monsters, heathens. And unfortunately, in the black community, we got a whole bunch of monsters running around here. A whole bunch of them. Of course, you know it's not just Atlanta, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And we know white folks raise monsters too. Yeah, we know that too. Yeah, we've seen them. We do know that. For the sake of these videos, as a black man, particularly a black gay man, I'm kind of like focused on the black community, but you know, for the sake of conversation, I know white people do raise monsters also. I do recognize and realize that. So let's get that on out the way, because I can see y'all over there pecking on the computer now. White people do it too. My fucking nerves. And we got to live amongst these monsters. The last apartment complex I lived in, it was a black family that lived in this apartment. The mother was in a wheelchair. So she was on some type of government assistance in that program. Prior to me living in that apartment complex, it was a tax credit, Section 8 housing. And as those contracts expired, they renovated the apartments and did market rent. They didn't want to keep these people in there. But she was one of the last holdouts because she was in a wheelchair. She had a wheelchair accessible unit. Boy, it was some heathens going in and out that unit. I would literally sit out my front door, sit on my couch and look out the window at them heathens going back and forth, back and forth. It was just ridiculous. Fighting, all kinds of stuff. And I guess these were her children when she was in a wheelchair. And eventually they moved out that apartment. Well, she would, occasionally, she had so many issues that she would go back and forth to the hospital. One time she left, she never came back. And so, I don't know if she died, I don't know what, because I really didn't speak to those people because I see them, they ain't keep right on going. But when they moved out that apartment, now I went inside of it. It was filthy. I couldn't believe there were roaches running around. I was in total shock. The stove was just, I'm thinking these niggas lived in this filth. It was horrible. A beautiful apartment, they destroyed it. I was like, I walked through that apartment in total shock. The apartment complex had to pretty much gut that damn place to get the roaches out. And they took the flooring out there. I saw them working for days inside. They mixing them, just working. I saw them pull out the flooring, bring out the appliances. They trashed the appliances. It was horrible. I saw the exterminators going. I knew they were trying to stomp out all them damn roaches in there. And then, eventually they cleaned it up and rented it out for $2,500. I said, "Ooh, Lord, they won't happen to that damn place." But I went in there, it was beautiful. I was like, after they finished it took them about a month and a half to work on that shit. And when I went in there, but I always thought about them and them raggedy cars they had, them kids running in and out, the little babies. They'd have a little cookout on the front porch. And they lived in that filthy apartment, and nobody cleaned it up. The bathrooms were filthy. The kitchen was nasty. The floors, it was ridiculous. And the place I was living was pretty much an upscale apartment complex. After they got all them niggas out of there, that was real upscale. That unit that I was in, they were in there close for $3,000 a month, but they got my black ass out of there. Get! I'm going, my shit, you all get on down the road over to this house. I'm not paying that. That's a mortgage payment. I brought my ass right over here. And come to find out they were into some white folks. For close to $3,000 a month. I said, ooh, wow. Nice apartment though. I mean, they can get it. The place across the street was like $3,500. Oh no, it was, yeah. The place across the street was $3,500, but it was much smaller than my place. But these black folks, they live it's horrible. And I can imagine a lot of these children that we see, the environments that they're being grown, that they're raising in, that they're growing up in. So when they go out and shoot and kill somebody or stab somebody or kill their own parent, well, I don't have any children, so I don't know what it's like to raise a child. I don't have any kids. But I would hope that my children would be good enough to know better than. I don't think I would raise my children in a filthy environment and just toss them to the wind without a care in the world, not actively involved. Having children is a very serious responsibility, very serious. And it makes you wonder, how these I keep thinking about the situation with this 23-year-old kid going to stabbing this woman to death, but then after I see he pulled a knife on his mother and grabbed other black leg and almost killed her ass. I said, okay. Then the next story, this man is shot and killed his daddy. Another one of them rat trap apartment buildings over there in Southwest Atlanta, y'all. All these cities, we all know there are ghettos everywhere, but one of the things that always concerned me about Atlanta is Atlanta had a very large population of people living in poverty. Very large. And when they closed all those housing projects and tore them all down, there are literally still holes in the ground where these housing projects were all over the city. They never rebuilt some of the stuff. You had Techwood Homes, Eastlake Meadows, stuff up and down Donald Lee Howell, Buckhead Highway, near the Martin Luther King Center, Auburn Avenue, was the housing projects over there. It was everywhere. So you got a lot of poverty here. They just displaced them. They didn't eliminate the poverty issue. They didn't bring in better jobs and higher incomes and educate these people and retrain them and put them to work someplace. In fact, no, they just moved them. So they're still here. Another generation trapped in poverty. This is exactly what's happening. So when you drive around Atlanta and you start going in some of these areas, you run into some pretty desperate situations that have been going on for decades. As I said, it's pretty much many instances monsters raising monsters. You know, I don't know what to say. And I really don't even know how to even begin. People say, you have any suggestions to fix it? Not really. Birth control, abortion, or what? I don't know. You know, I couldn't tell you. That's why I moved. That was my solution, move someplace safe. So I ain't got to deal with that shit. I don't venture into the city that often anymore. I mean, we don't have need to. Not especially to going through them hood rat neighborhoods. For what? Going over there. Deal with them heathens. It's unfortunate the heathens come to you sometimes, like Miss Eleanor Bowles killed in her house. The heathen came over there, broke into her home and stabbed her in her own garage. Can you imagine that? It happens, unfortunately. Well, I apologize for all the confusion at the start of this video. I don't know what's with these damn dogs. I have to figure something out in fast. Because every time I go to sit down and do a video, all hell breaks loose. But anyway, today is Tuesday, December 13th. The year is 2022. And you all have a good night. And I just wanted to share a couple of things that were going on in Atlanta. And I know it happens everywhere. It's not just Atlanta. I know, Chicago, Baltimore, D.C., New York, New Jersey, Miami, Los Angeles, Houston. We can go on and on and on. New Orleans, especially New Orleans. It's happening everywhere. Is there a solution to this problem? Nuclear bomb in cities, nuke them? I don't know. Don't answer that question. Anyway, I'm out of here. It's Tuesday, December 13th. The year is 2022. I'm out. You all have a good night.